Welcome to the You Can't Afford Me podcast, where we skip the fluff and dive straight into the grind. Real entrepreneurs, real struggles, and the unfiltered journey behind success. Let's get into it. Hey guys, thanks for joining us on another episode of the You Can't Afford Me podcast. So our guest today here in the studio, do you like $1 million homes? Because this guy is in that space. We met, how long ago? I want to say at least 5-6 years that we've known each other.
Then about 5 years ago, you did a video with a realtor in one of our sales offices.
Okay, yeah.
And we've just kind of stayed in touch from there.
That was it there. And then he's kind of branched into a different career path as well, too, alongside was working with the company that you've been with. And we're just going to get right into it. So today in the studio, we have John in the studio. How you doing today?
I'm good. And thanks very much for having me, Sam. I always enjoy talking to you and
Absolutely.
spending time together.
Absolutely.
So this is fun.
So give everybody a quick rundown of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I am John Fleming. I'm the VP of Sales and Marketing for AR Homes in Richmond. I'm responsible for all of our sales, marketing, and branding efforts. And can I give you the quick 30 seconds on AR Homes? So AR Homes, there's several things that set AR Homes apart as a luxury custom builder. First, we're a franchise business model, so very entrepreneurial. So
I did not know that.
Yeah, AR Homes was founded in 1953. We operate in 10 different states. Ooh. In each of our markets, there's a local custom builder that owns the AR Homes franchise in that market. So in our case, it's Matt Ellington and Ellington Custom Homes. Matt's been building custom homes for over 20 years and just he's built a really quality reputation for building a great home. So AR Homes offers our customers the big builder abilities of AR Homes, but also that local customer, the local custom builder expertise. So we have full design capabilities. We offer over 100 different floor plans. All can be fully customized. We can design a home for our clients from a blank sheet of paper. If our clients are already working with an architect or bringing plans with them, we can build those plans as well. We consider ourselves an everything's included custom builder. So just our included features and finishes and what we offer in our homes is just very, very high. So other than the customizations that our customers make and maybe some of the outdoor package type of things like pools, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces, things like that, our customers don't really need to add a lot to their homes. For instance, we've all been in a model home where the model home included over $100,000 in options, and you're trying to figure out what's included and what's not. And we try to make it very, very easy. Another factor is we call it full transparency pricing. It's essentially fixed pricing. So we provide our customers with a very detailed price quote up front, 22 to 25 pages. And it lists every single home and every single item in the home, right down to the towel bar holders. Yep. So versus most custom builders take an allowance style approach where everything's allowanced or a cost plus approach. And you never really know how much the home's going to cost until you get to the very end. And then finally, we do operate in communities, but we're also an on-your-lot builder. So if we're working with a client that already owns their land or has an area of preference, we can certainly help them with that. So, so those are the biggest things that really, I think, set us apart in the market.
Love it. And did you, correct me if I'm wrong, did you get your real estate license not too long ago?
I do have my real estate license. We'll probably get into that a little further in the conversation. But I also am a member of Shaheen Ruth Martin Fonville Real Estate, better known as FRM, FRE, and specifically with the brand group and Kristen Buran. So we're having fun with that relationship.
Perfect. And if I can just add a caveat to the homes you guys build, some of the most beautiful homes me and my team have ever been able to film. Like you guys at that price point, now you remember growing up and somebody's like, I live in $1 million home. You're expecting like basketball courts and tennis courts and pools and stuff like that. Now $1 million home can be like a little 3-bedroom shack. But like you guys are one of the only ones that when I'm looking in that price point tier, I'm like, this is what luxury living looks like. Like especially those outdoor spaces and the kitchens. Like you guys just have a beautiful product with that. So let's take it back.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Let's take it back. Let's go back to where did all this start for you? Did you go to college after high school? Where did you grow up? All that good stuff.
Oh man. Yes, I went to college. After college, I got into the home building industry. I have been in the home building industry for over 30 years and just have loved my time in the industry. I've held a variety of positions in the industry. It's a hard business. It's a challenging business, but it's a very rewarding business. Yeah. What I love about the business, the home building business, is At the end of the day, you can see what's been accomplished. So maybe there's a foundation that wasn't there yesterday, or maybe we've just framed a house. I can go back to communities that I was a part of 30 years ago, and I still have those memories of what I was doing at that point in my life, and
Yep.
just knowing that I was a part of that. So I love that. I love being a part of new communities and neighborhoods. I love building homes and watching people move into their new homes and become friends and neighbors, and sometimes really create lifelong relationships.
Yeah.
With AR Homes, it's just been amazing because truly every one of our homes is uniquely designed for our particular client. So to get to go on that journey with our client, kind of bringing their vision to life and bringing dream homes to life for them, it's a really cool experience. And just kind of the quality of the products that we get to work with and the quality of home that we deliver, it's great.
What did you major in school that kind of led you into this field?
Yeah, I guess that helps a little bit. So I majored in mass communications.
Okay.
So public relations, advertising.
And where'd you go to
radio,
school
TV.
at?
I went to Towson University in Baltimore. I'm originally from the Southern Maryland area.
Oh man, you're not a Ravens fan, are you?
You know what? I grew up a Commanders fan.
Okay, I can live with that.
But I will say, because I know you're a Steelers fan,
Yep.
no, our two daughters grew up being Ravens fans because we lived in Columbia, Maryland for a long time.
Yep.
And when the Ravens started up, our daughters gravitated toward that, but I tend to gravitate toward the Commanders.
Nice.
But yeah.
So what was it? Did you have any jobs before you got into this space? Was it straight from college, or you went straight into the home building space?
You know, I knocked around a little bit right after college, and I'll share a funny story. So there was a corporation at the time called U.S. Home Corporation. They were the largest home building corporation in the United States. And I took a position with them as a superintendent trainee. And honestly, they were going to pay me a lot of money for that time for knowing absolutely nothing. So the less I knew, the more valuable I was to them. And their philosophy was they were the only builder who really knew how to build a home. So if you didn't know anything about home building, fewer bad habits they had to break you of.
Come in green, they can train you how they want you.
Yes, so they did. So U.S. Home had a great career path. They took you from superintendent all the way up to what they called vice president of construction. Then you got into their management development program, where they really trained you to be a P&L, profit and loss manager. And from there, I did that, got into some division president roles and a variety of roles in the industry, and just had a great journey doing that. So that's kind of the short story of my career path.
How did you talk to us about, because I think anybody that's been in the same industry for over 30 years, like, you have to have some strong connections. So talk, like, if somebody's listening to this and they're like, this is always an industry I've thought about going into, talk about how you were able to cultivate what relationships were important for you to continue in your career, and how did you get and cultivate those relationships?
For me, I promote for anyone. If you're interested in a particular industry, you need to find a strong mentor. So I was fortunate enough in my career that I had my supervisor early in my career. He loved working with younger people, and I was young at the time. And he loved mentoring people and watching people grow and just seeing their careers, push forward and grow forward. And those were really important relationships that I had. And I had some other mentoring type relationships and people that I could look up to, and people that, if I was having a struggle with something, just something was very challenging, I could pick up the phone and say, hey, how do you do this? What do you think about this? I always think of a person, he was my controller in one of my divisions, and he was a younger guy. And he would seek out mentors in different industries, and just really to find out about their business model, how their business worked, and how he could grow as a person. The other side of that is continue your education. You got to continue learning and growing. And I've done some of that myself, but this particular person I think about, he went to the Darden Business School, and now he's a division president for one of the larger public builders in the nation in one of their largest divisions. So he's doing really, really well. So, I would say find mentors and continue improving and growing. You don't have to necessarily go to a business school or get your master's, but there's courses, there's certifications. For me, even just getting my real estate license and kind of introducing myself to that aspect of the industry. There are some sales leaders, gurus, I call them, in the new home industry that I follow, and I attend their seminars. I'm always looking for ways to grow and get better. For me, I've been in the workforce for a long time now. It's keeping up with the technologies and making sure, that I know how to do the social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of those things, and that I can stay relevant. So those things are important to me.
Absolutely. Here's a question I get from people all the time, like, because you can't just walk up to a guy and be like, "Hey, man, will you be my mentor?"
Uh-huh.
How did you find? Because oftentimes, like the mentors that have come into my life, it wasn't necessarily that I was looking for a mentor,
Uh-huh.
but once I engaged with them, it was like, okay, I think I could learn a lot from this person. So, how did you navigate even finding mentors along the way?
It's very much like you did. Back when I was coming up, mentoring was still kind of a new thing,
Yeah.
believe it or not. So again, my first supervisor just kind of took me under his wing. I think he saw some potential, and I'm glad he did, and he just helped me grow. And then as I went through my career, kind of like you, I would just see certain people that I would say, I can really learn from this person.
Mm,
I'm gonna stay close to them, and I'm gonna, learn from them and do what I can do. And then, that applies to your personal life
yeah.
too. My faith is very important to me, and there's some faith leaders and some groups that I participate in that I just learned so much from those people. So I think, if you're looking, if you're alert, you can learn from a lot of people in your life.
Oh yeah, and it can be from afar. Like I try to have a mentor in every aspect of my life, whether
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
spiritual piece, the physical health, the business, the relationships. Like there's always someone that's going down the path that you're going down, and why bang your head up against a brick wall if there's somebody that can show you how to avoid those mistakes?
Absolutely. And another huge thing right now that I would always promote is, again, it wasn't available maybe earlier in my career, but executive coaching.
Mm,
So there are some really good executive coaches out there, and the great thing about them is they're outside of your business. They're outside of what you're doing. So they're looking at your circumstance and your business objectively and
yeah.
kind of coaching you. Sometimes it's coaching you how to manage people, how to be a better leader.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's coaching you how to be more profitable or more successful. But I think that's another form of mentoring. I mean, you have to pay for those
Yeah.
services, but it's a good investment. But there's a lot of coaches out there now.
Yeah. Making that investment in yourself.
Yeah.
Um, talk about because like especially in I'm not sure if it's as much on this with the builder side of things as it is in terms of like an agent or a broker. Um, what does the scheduling look like? Because like when I talk to my real estate friends, it's like the weekends they're Super Bowl. Like they may be able to take off on a Monday or something like that, but like Saturday and Sundays when they're out showing homes. Is it the same in the building industry, or are you guys typically just like 9 to 5?
It's the same in the building industry. It really is. We don't have an open model right now, so my schedule's a
Mm,
little bit different. But in the new home industry, they say that after the Super Bowl, the spring market starts. So for new
mm,
home builders, we're right in the middle of the spring market. So it's a busy time. And for those who have models open, you need to have your models open. But it is very much like real estate. If it happens to be your day off and somebody wants to meet you to buy a $2 million home, then that's
yeah.
probably a worthwhile investment.
Yep.
Or staying later to help a client or a customer because, again, people are working and a lot of people want to meet on the evenings and the
Mm,
weekends. So you have to be available to take care of your customers if you're going to be successful. New home construction, real estate is not a 9 to 5 job.
yeah. I'm gonna make an assumption, so correct me here if I'm wrong. I'm assuming some of the other home building companies that you work for, they didn't necessarily have the same tier of clientele that you're currently dealing with. So if that is the case, kind of talk to us about the difference in terms of building homes in the 4, 5, $600,000 range versus once you
Uh-huh.
get over a million.
Yeah, so this has been a unique experience for me and a great experience for me. So, kind of backing up a little bit. So I joined AR Homes in 2019. I was really looking to make a career change or just go in a different direction
Yep.
and develop some new skills. So I really liked the AR Homes business model. AR Homes in Richmond, they opened in the market about mid 2018, and I joined them in early 2019. So I was pretty early in the process. Um, but anyway, I really liked the business model. I knew Matt and I knew his partner, so I liked the investors.
Mm,
I like the entrepreneurial spirit of it because it is a franchise, and while you've got the main AR Homes Corporation,
yeah.
each building company, each franchise has to be able to stand on their own. They've got to learn how to grow the business, manage the business properly, be profitable.
Mm,
So, and I love being a part of a startup. So that's a really cool experience. For my background, I've really been more involved with production style builders. So, I've managed divisions that have done 400 homes a year, those types of things. And it's all about production and getting the next home built, building and delivering a quality product, but getting the homeowner in that home and then kind of moving on to the next one. What I love about AR Homes is our cycle time right now is about 18 months. From the time that we sign a home building agreement. So I
Yep.
might be working with somebody for 2 years before we
Hmm.
hand them the keys. And when you're with someone that long, you really build some very personal relationships.
Yeah.
And you're with that person through a really long journey. And the nice thing about it is we are able to stay in touch with our buyers after that journey. As a luxury custom builder, high-end custom builder, our goal is to do about 10 homes a month. We're not trying to do 400
Yeah.
a year. So or 10 homes a year versus like 400 a year.
Yeah.
And that really allows you to go on that journey with each customer and spend time. So I love that part of it. I love the products we get to work with.
Yeah.
So we have some very, again, all of our products are very high-end products. So it's quartz countertops, it's semi-custom cabinets, it's upgrade engineered hardwood floors, it's tile, it's Sub-Zero and Wolf appliances, and it can go on and on. And then we get to deal with or work with really cool things. So one buyer always jumps to mind. They had a custom bathtub and chandelier shipped from England
Whew.
for their home. So we were very, very careful
Yeah.
installing those things. Yeah, we had another buyer who had all of their fixtures their lighting fixtures made for them in New York and shipped to us.
Mm.
We recently installed a Tesla roof, which is kind of the next level of
Oh,
solar.
now talk to me about
I know, yeah,
that.
that's right. You got a Tesla
Yeah.
recently, so the shingles actually act as the solar panels. So now you don't have
Mm.
the big solar panels on
Yeah.
your roof, and the shingles just look like typical shingles, and just
Wow.
an amazing product. You would also love this. We just installed our first putting green recently. Yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
So we've done movie rooms, exercise rooms, all the outdoor spaces, the outdoor kitchens, fireplaces, pools, things like
So
that.
out of
So
all those, you listed some pretty cool things. Can you recall what would be probably your most favorite room that you guys have ever done?
favorite room.
Because I need a room with a golf simulator. I've been preaching that to my wife. It's happening on the next house.
Um, I love that putting green. It was really cool. There's been so many great spaces and so many great rooms that we did the in-home movie theater in a home that we did. That was pretty cool. But so here's the deal. Um, so we build new homes, but sometimes our clients, our customers call us back when they want to start adding things to their existing home. So right now we are working on a 2,300 square foot uh, guest house, pool house.
Nice.
But when you go in, there's a big, large open area. It's going to have a kitchenette, a bathroom for the pool, golf simulator. So when that gets a little further along, we'll do a shoot over there, and
Yeah, for
you can
sure.
try out the golf simulator. And we just had another buyer come to us recently that wants to do specifically a golf simulator building in their rear yard.
Love it.
So that's really the difference, I think, between the production side and the custom side, the relationships that you have an opportunity to build, and just the unique products and experiences that you get to have.
Love that. Let's talk about, you talked about how the schedule for you guys is pretty similar to your traditional real estate agent
Yeah.
where, you know, you need to go do something on a Saturday or Sunday, client calls and needs to get done. Um, Talk to us about the balance of, you have kids?
I have adult children. Yeah.
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 So talk to us about the difference or the balancing of being in a career this long. Because here's my struggle as a father is, me and my wife have very young kids. Like our girl's about to turn 6 this week, and then our boy will be turning 5 in July.
Yeah.
So I always struggle with, working hard enough to ensure that they get a much better life than what I grew up in,
Yeah.
but also making sure that I'm present enough for them. It's not just like dad was always out working, like that I'm being present. So talk to us in terms of like the lessons that you learned in terms of balancing being a husband and a father while you were building your career.
Yeah, really good points. And honestly, Sam, I think we have similar values.
Hmm.
So early in my career, working for a public home production home builder, I mean, it's very demanding, and
Yeah.
you have to be all in, especially at the levels that I was able to go to. So There's a time in my career I was probably working 50, 60 hours a week.
Mm.
Um, and sometimes it is hard to find that balance. What I would kind of demand for myself or my family is Saturday afternoons. Like I would go in and work for a little bit on Saturdays, but Saturday afternoons and Sundays, just
Yeah.
no work, and really focusing and being present with the family. And then trying to be present when I get home in the evening. It's very easy to bring, when you have that kind of job, it's very easy to bring that home with you every
Absolutely.
night. So, you might be there with your family, but you're 100 miles away.
Hmm.
So, through the years, just really, really trying to balance that. If I'm being honest, I wish I had been a little more present when my children were younger.
Hmm.
So that's good advice for anybody. I will tell you, I have an amazing wife and a great partner. We're going to celebrate our 39th anniversary this
Nice.
year,
Congrats.
so I couldn't have done it without her. Um, and that's, when I said I was kind of looking to make a change when I went to AR Homes. For me, I'm at a point in my career when I don't need to kind of work at that level,
Yeah.
but I still want to be productive. I want to have fun and enjoy what I'm doing. We work hard at AR Homes, no question, but it's not that same level of stress and hours that I've
Yeah.
worked in the past. So now I've got more time to spend with my wife, and we love seeing our adult daughters when we can. And we became grandparents for the first time in August. So
Nice. Congrats.
we're enjoying that
Man,
time
there's
too.
a flip that switches there, man. Because, like, the way my mom interacts with our kids and, like, all the snacks and this and that, whatever they want. Yeah. I'm like, you realize how much you told me no when we are growing up? She's like, yeah, but that's different. Like, it's just fun to watch that switch between parent to grandparent. Like, because you get to spoil them and then send them home.
We do. We don't have to be the parents. We
Yeah.
can just enjoy the person, and man, we're enjoying it so much right now. It's wonderful, and I'm finding time to take better care of myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a point in your career where you kind of get to enjoy those things. But yeah, very early in my life, it was about building the career, kind of like you. I came from a very middle class, hardworking family, kind of some
Hmm.
humble roots type of thing. I was one of the first kids in my family to graduate high school, much less college.
Oh, wow.
Both my parents worked very hard and they provided for us well. But yeah, it was all from my wife and I. It was always about providing more opportunities for our daughters, and I think we've successfully done that. And they're out conquering the world, and I'm really proud of them.
Love it. Love it. Let's talk about the addition or the pivot that you made in getting your real estate license. So, why, after all this time now, did you decide to go out and get your real estate license?
So, I, being candid,
Yeah.
I don't actively sell real estate.
Hmm.
I have my real estate license primarily to manage AR Homes listings in the MLS.
Yeah.
So just if we want to list a home or property, managing that. But my focus all day, every day, is on AR Homes and selling those homes. We did partner with the Brand Group
Yep.
because 80% of our transactions are realtor assisted. So those relationships are super important to us. When we
Hmm.
came into the market, we really had to educate the realtor community about us and who AR Homes is because nobody knew who we were.
Hmm.
We had to earn their trust. We had to demonstrate that we were going to take care of their clients. Um, Working with Kristen's group, she provides us some connections and some inroads that we wouldn't otherwise enjoy. So, for instance, the Cosentino event that you
Yep.
attended and you did the social media workshop for us, and that was fantastic.
That's
We were able to
phenomenal space.
Yeah, and we were able to get some top producing realtors there,
Hmm.
and that worked out really well for us. But since you've asked me that question, I will share with you. It was really, there was a time in my life I had to make a career pivot. So most people listening probably aren't going to be old enough to remember the real estate downturn in 2008, 2009.
Hmm.
Um, and up to that point, I had been in the home building industry for 24 years, and found myself out of the home building industry. And it was really interesting. Up until that point in my life, all my background had been very operational, managing divisions, managing construction, those types of things. So I knew I wanted to get back into the home building industry, um, and I had to figure out how to do that. And part of it was expanding my resume. So I got my real estate license in Williamsburg, actually, and actively practiced real estate for about 3 years. Became an associate broker with that brokerage, and accomplished some really nice things. And the plan worked because it's always good when the plan works. So there
Mm-hmm.
was a builder in Cincinnati that was looking for a division manager. They were very sound operationally, but they were struggling with sales, and they needed a division manager who understood sales and could drive sales. So that sales background that I picked up
Yeah.
in participating or being active in real estate helped me to accomplish other things in my life. So sometimes you're taking a position for the experience and looking if you can look at things long term, it's going to get you to where you want to be.
Absolutely.
I always tell if I'm ever mentoring someone, it's always where do you want to be 5 years from now, and where's the
Mm-hmm.
path to get there? And it may not always be a straight path. So that's originally how I got into real estate, and I got so comfortable with it that I am very comfortable having my real estate license, having relationships with SRM, FRE, and the brand group, those types of things. So
Yeah.
those are great relationships.
No, that's all. Because a lot of people think they get into a certain role or they take a certain career path, and you can't go wide. Most people are just looking to go up instead of also being able to look at going wide.
Yeah, I believe in today's world, you have to be flexible. So,
Yeah.
I shared that experience of being really an operational type person to getting that sales background and participating, in real estate. And then even this last turn, going from a production builder mindset to um, a luxury custom home builder and being the sales and marketing representative, that's another turn.
Yeah.
And I've had to learn a lot as I've gone. And again, I've reached out to different people, both on a national level and a local level, to learn from and to learn how to do that. So I think in any career, you just have to be flexible.
Yeah. No, 1,000%. This is the final question I ask every guest on this show is describe to us your most difficult time in your career, like as you were scaling up, and what did you do to overcome that?
Well, we've kind of talked about it. So I was with U.S. Home Corporation. I went from superintendent trainee to division president. Um, 2006 to 2008 hit, and it was became a very, very challenging environment. So I kind of left that.
Mm,
And I really had to take a step back, both career-wise and even financially, getting into the real estate. I was entering into real estate in probably the most difficult real estate
yeah.
market that we've ever had to learn that experience. So number one, there was the financial challenges, there was the career challenges. Where's my career going from here, and what does the future look like? And I just really worked very hard to be diligent, to be focused, to just have faith that there would be other opportunities available.
Hmm.
And that opportunity came in the form of a builder, a regional builder in Cincinnati. It was a great organization, great outfit. I was there for 3 years, and the only reason we came back to Richmond was just life was kind of calling us back to
Yeah.
Richmond for some other things. But navigating that, because that was a huge turn in my career. Everything was moving along really, really well for about 24 years, and then all of a sudden, almost like
Hmm.
overnight, everything was different. Everything was upside down. But I think if you can kind of stay strong, stay focused, create some goals, and just have some faith, you can work through it.
Yeah. Now I think those moments in history, like the big crash of 2008, and you look at as most recently as COVID. Um, I wasn't I wasn't necessarily moving up the corporate ladder in 2008. That
Yeah.
wasn't too far after college for me. I think I was working a warehouse job at that moment. Like I hadn't come into my entrepreneurial skin quite yet.
Yeah.
But now looking back, like the one I did go through was COVID, and realizing that number one, if you keep your head down and keep working, like you can make it through just about anything. And two is being open to the changes.
Right.
Like immediately I went into once COVID was real, I was like, yo, things are getting shut down. You can't go in person and do X, Y, and Z. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
holy crap. Like, and this was just when I started like build a little team at my company and things like that. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm responsible for these people's paycheck. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this was before ChatGPT or Claude or anything like that. And I was just like, well, what if I got clients to film their own content? I need them to do it at a certain level. So let me pop in the studio. I can still come into the office. I'm gonna make a how-to video on how to properly
Yeah. Yeah.
shoot. Here's the proper lighting you need, and I'm telling people take this lamp in your bedroom, put it over here so we have the right shading, how to get the right audio, all that kind of stuff. So I just had them sending in all their content, and we were going out and about getting B-roll for stuff that they couldn't be at. But like, you just figure it out. So I think every time one of those major things have happened in the economy and in the world, like if you're willing to pivot and you keep an open mind, you can get through just about anything.
Yeah, you can, and I will add one other thing to that. So as I said, I was with this one company for 24 years, had a great career. Had I stayed with that company for another 6 years and retired at 30 years, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be nearly as capable. The experiences that I got to enjoy and that I had to create because of that step back
Mm,
have made me just a much more capable person. So since leaving that environment, I've worked for two other production builders and now a custom home builder, done a little bit more in real estate, and now I'm a sales manager, and just all of those different
yeah.
experiences. So it was scary at the time, but looking back on it, there's really very little that I would change. So
Actually, I lied. I got one more question for you.
okay,
So you just prompted a thought. Why? Because staying with the company, you said the one company you were with over 20 years.
yeah.
From your perspective, why was it so much easier for people to stay longer with the company back then versus today? It seems like now I'm going to start sounding like the old guy. Like this generation, like it seems like they just stick around for a year to 3 years and they're out. What's the big difference you've seen?
Yeah. There's a number of things. So I stayed with the same company for so long because at every step of the way they were always providing me education and opportunity to learn and grow and progress my career forward.
Hmm.
So like I said, I there were probably about 7 positions I held from superintendent trainee to division president. And I could always see that clear path.
Yeah.
So it made sense for me at the time to stay for that long. Um, there were a lot of people around me who would leave because somebody was going to pay them $1 an hour more. So, and
Hmm.
I think those are big decisions to make. Again, if you're trying to look 5 years ahead, like I can go over here, and this person's going to pay me a little bit more, but where am I going to be with that person in 5 years versus where I am right now?
Yeah.
The other thing I will say is, I came from an era when companies were much more loyal to the employees. So, for instance, when I was with this builder, U.S. Home Corporation, it was nothing to look around me and see people who had been with the company 25, 30 years.
Mm,
People worked their entire careers there. Unfortunately, I think in the world that we live in today, everything's so fast. When the market changes, home builders, they lay off staff, they cut staff.
yeah.
There's not as much loyalty. So I think if the companies aren't going to be as loyal to the employees and to the
Mm,
associates, then the associates aren't going to be as loyal to the companies and things. So I think that's a big shift. But I would also argue, there are benefits to being at the same place for 22 to 24 years. But had
mm,
I moved around a little bit more, again, I think I would have experienced some growth earlier in my career. Like I said,
yeah.
after I left, I've grown as much in the last 10 years of my career as I did in the
Yeah.
first 20. So there's different sides to
Yeah. I
it.
think a lot of people always think like whether it's business or relationships, they always think the grass is always greener on the other side. And
Yeah.
my favorite saying is the grass is greenest where you water it.
Yeah.
Like if you're taking care of your situation and the people that are around you, your situation's always going to be better than just jumping here or there. But I do think that's a great point that I do feel, and I'm always looking at that in terms of my company. Like, how can I keep great people here for the long haul?
Yeah, absolutely. 'Cause
And
you need the good people that you can count on. So,
yeah,
can I throw a plug out to your
yeah,
company?
absolutely.
So it's interesting. You did a great media post on social media this morning, and it was so relevant to where we are now. So when we opened in 2019 in the Richmond market, no
Hmm.
one had ever heard of AR Homes. So a big challenge for us is like creating a brand,
Yeah.
letting people know who we are in the Richmond market. So again, a big part of that has been, establishing those relationships with the realtor community, but also we've tried to be much more intentional and consistent in our social media over the
Hmm.
past year and a half or so. So, we've been doing really well. We've got 1,700 Instagram followers. We've got about
Nice.
1,000 LinkedIn followers, or probably more about 1,500, and just under 1,000. I'm sorry, 1,500 Facebook followers, just under about 1,000 LinkedIn followers. But we're getting those interactions. We're getting those likes. People are starting to follow us. People are starting to see us. And then, as
Hmm.
you pointed out in your social media, so what next? How do we best engage with those people?
Yep.
How do we develop relationships, and how do we hopefully become they become our customers?
Hmm.
So I thought that was a great piece that you put out there
Yeah, no, I
today. So,
appreciate
so
it.
hopefully people will see that.
And I'm gonna push it a little bit. Get AR Homes on TikTok. Telling people
Okay,
the
okay,
fastest growing demographic on TikTok right now is people between the ages of 32 to 54.
right,
It
right.
is growing rapidly, and you can get discovered faster on TikTok than any other social media platform. Like I have a video right now. Keep in mind, I've been going hard at this for 11 years,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you've seen the stuff I've been experimenting a little bit,
yeah.
going harder at some of the things with my social media the last couple of months. I got a video on Instagram now that's creeping towards 1 million. I
Wow.
think it's at
Okay,
like 980,000 views right now.
okay.
It took me 11 years to get a video to get that kind of attention.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's under the biggest thing I've learned in this last 60 days, because I've really been experimenting with some things on social media. Really, what I've learned most in the last 60 days is doing a lot and trying a lot of different things.
Right,
The
right,
audience will tell you what they want to see more of. Like
right.
I have a series like you talked about. So I'll just say we're both believers.
Yeah.
And I have a series. I grew up. My dad was a pastor since the day I was born.
Oh wow.
So I wanted to start this quick series where, from a comical standpoint, like Black Baptist preachers are just they're characters in the pulpit. Like my dad's like sweating like he's like been working out like at the beginning of the sermon, and just the mannerisms and the way they talk. And something hit me, and it wasn't something I saw, because normally I do get most of my ideas from other things that I see, and I kind of build off of that.
Sure.
But this one, I was like, I was listening to an old '90s sitcom theme song, and I was like, this would be hilarious if like a Baptist preacher was like saying these lyrics from the perspective of like a sermon in the
Uh-huh.
pulpit.
Uh-huh.
So I started doing this quick series. I've only done 2 of them, and certain platforms got much better response than other ones did.
Right, right.
And a bunch of people, when I say a bunch, like maybe like 7 or 8 people like DM me and were like,
Yeah.
"Yo, this is hilarious, man. I hope you
Uh-huh.
keep doing this."
Oh,
But the
that's
numbers
funny.
haven't reflected it.
Right.
Like, and I had to go out and buy a pastor's robe and like do all these different things. I had to make a little investment in it,
Yeah, yeah.
and it hasn't been the way I would expect people to respond, especially after some of the initial responses.
Uh-huh.
So you have to be able to look at some of those things and understand, okay, there is an audience here, but now I know, okay, if people really want to see this, then there's some things I got to tweak if I'm going to keep doing this, because it's not landing the way I want it to.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't
Interesting.
necessarily mean you just stop doing something because, oh, this video only got 400 views, like it's not worth my time anymore. No, there's some meat there. You just have to figure out what that is. So that's one reason why I'm pushing all businesses toward TikTok, is because we have had the perception that only 16 to 24-year-olds are using TikTok. It has changed dramatically.
Yeah.
Major brands are on TikTok. And the way that algorithm functions, unlike anything else, it's allowed me to test content on TikTok, and I can ultimately determine what the response is going to be on other platforms. If
Yeah.
this video on TikTok is getting 25,000 views, I know it's going to crush on Instagram or Facebook. So like I
Interesting.
can play those little things. And then there's certain things that I've seen that will get like 400 views on TikTok, but I know it's going to get a few thousand views on my Instagram page.
Yeah.
So it just allows you some playing with that. And that's the thing that I've heard from your story, is that you've been willing to pivot. You've been willing to try different things, because a lot of people just say, we've gotten this far without doing all this social media stuff.
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
point of even trying this? But you're like, no, I'm actively trying to learn new things and put this in place.
We are, and your points are really good, because we're just now at the point where, and you do this, you've got all the statistics, you can see how things are performing, and we're
Hmm.
just getting to that point of seeing, how many people view a post, and then
Yep.
how many people like it, share it, kind of whatever. And it's really interesting, because there are times when I'll post something and I'm like, this is really good. This is
Hmm.
nothing,
And
And
nobody.
yeah, and then there are other times when I'll be like, I don't know if this is any good. I'm just gonna put it out there, and
Blows up.
yeah. So it is crazy, but like you said, you get to that point, and you're much better at this than I am. But of seeing people are responding to, and then being able to pivot and adjust and to continue to grow that business.
Yeah.
So that's great you're doing that.
It's all plan and trial and efforts and all these different things.
Yeah, yeah.
John, this was an awesome conversation, man. Greatly appreciate you coming on here. If people now, when I tell y'all AR homes are some of the most beautiful homes here in the Richmond area, I can't speak for the other markets. I know here in Richmond, these are some of the most beautiful homes I've ever been able to be in, film, and capture content. If people want to engage you guys with your services, they want more information, where can they go to check you guys out?
ARHomes.com. And then when you're on the website, you can find our AR Homes Richmond page. or they can email us or reach out to me directly.
And look out for their TikTok page coming soon.
There you go. You got it.
Appreciate you,
All
John.
right, thanks, Sam. Really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys on the next episode.